Is this true about Roman Reigns? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is and whether or not it is true. Because Roman Reigns, obviously one of the GOATs, arguably the GOAT, depending on who you're talking to and what kind of day it is for them. Roman Reigns, he has had his ups and he's had his downs. But when it comes to the Tribal Chief, when it comes to the Bloodline storyline, that gimmick and that storyline, that faction that has lasted years will go down as one of the greatest 1-2 punches in pro wrestling history. For years, Vince McMahon tried to make Roman Reigns the guy. And for years, WWE fans pushed back on it. Not the fact that they didn't like him, it was the fact that they felt like Vince McMahon was trying to push him down our throats. And the booking, well, it didn't back up what Vince wanted, because he would book him in either weird programs or have him say weird things. And honestly, if you go back and you look at that Roman Reigns, he was not likable. In fact, he came across as go-away heat. It wasn't because he couldn't go in the ring. It's not the fact that he couldn't cut a promo. It's just whoever he was working was bad, and or his appearance just wasn't very terrible. He was just a guy. But Vince McMahon, he saw the potential in Roman Reigns. He was right in that regard, and yes, Vince is still a creep. Roman Reigns reinventing himself in the pandemic, in 2020, coming back as a heel, something which Vince McMahon was against after he split away from the Shield, coming back with a completely different persona, a completely different gimmick, character, and aligning himself with Paul Heyman, set the road, printed the map to success. That decision to go home during the pandemic because he had twins that had just been born, pulling out of WrestleMania as a top guy, betting on himself, telling Vince McMahon that he would not return to the company unless he did things his way. That paid off. Now look, Roman Reigns, his 2024, it has been interesting to say the least. He dropped the undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes on the second night of WrestleMania 40 after he and The Rock defeated Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins on the first night of WrestleMania. He took a hiatus, multiple months off, and we, of course, knew he was going to be returning. He did so at SummerSlam, costing Solo Sikoa the WWE Championship, effectively turning babyface because Solo had run off Paul Heyman and he declared himself the new Tribal Chief. Since then, he's recruited the Usos and now Sami Zayn. But is this true? It was a question in which I asked myself, in fact, and I have an answer for you. Is it true that his babyface run has been lackluster? Is it true that he doesn't act any different from his heel run? 1,000%. Let's address the fact that his babyface run has kind of sucked, because they have been trying to build up Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa so much that they have to use someone to get them over. Because let's be real, Solo Sikoa, and I still don't think he's over. I think he's just booked in the spot that he's in. The Tongas, they're kind of a joke. Jacob Fatu's serious, but he's kind of being held back by his surrounding cast. For Roman Reigns, he doesn't act any different than he did in his heel run. They messed up his music for whatever reason. They decided to remix it. It's a worse version. His first theme song was a banger. Please bring that back. But he doesn't act any different. He's just actually a more lost character. I don't want to say weaker, but he's definitely lost. I think the reason for that is because he does not have his wise man, Paul Heyman, and I think that's why he's booked not as strong that he once was, because he kind of needs that compass to kind of guide him on his way. I think that's a storyline in which they're trying to tell. They're also trying to build up the new bloodline. But his babyface run has been lackluster. Some weeks he comes out on top, some weeks he doesn't. And I understand as a babyface you need to build sympathy. But for a guy that comes out there, doesn't apologize to Jay for what he's done, doesn't apologize to Jimmy for what he's done, doesn't even apologize to Sami Zayn. The one thing that Sami Zayn wanted, right, on that SmackDown episode. And then they obviously just put everything together real quickly, and it didn't make much sense. But that is what's going on with Roman Reigns right now. So yeah, it's true that his babyface run has sucked because he's not a true babyface. He's just a less focused babyface. In terms of the way he acts, yeah, he's technically a babyface, but he's really not. He still acts like a heel. What sets him apart? Well, he's aligned with babyfaces. Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline are heels, and he gets a humongous ovation when he comes out. That's it. Other than that, his gimmick has not changed. His character has not changed. It's just a watered-down version of it, as weird as that sounds. But you know what? If that's what WWE wants, if that's what the fans want, if that's what Roman Reigns wants, then fine. Because at the end of the day, Roman Reigns will still be one of their biggest stars. The Bloodline storyline will still be one of the most, just absolutely most captivating storylines that they can present and has presented over the last, 4 years, almost 5 years. And they will move on and everything will be fine. But in terms of if you want to grade it, I think it's not been the same. I don't want to say it sucks, but it's just not the same. It's just been there. A little disappointing, if you will. I hope that changes. I hope they get Roman Reigns back where he belongs, on the forefront of our minds in terms of a highly profile star who has his character just absolutely dialed in. I look forward to seeing, okay, is it the fact that they don't have Paul Heyman and he's the guy that does the little face reactions and he's the wise man to the tribal chief and he kind of guides him where he needs to go, where he cannot see because Roman Reigns is kind of blind at this point of where he needs to go from a character standpoint of how to map out the rocky waters that it is that his war with the new bloodline is, him battling Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu and the Tongas, trying to get Jay on board, trying to get Jimmy to stay in line. All of that is very important. And it's going to take months to figure this out. But within months, we will. Within months, we will know. Within months, we will be sure. That's what it comes down to Roman Reigns. That's what it comes down to with the OG bloodline. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, Paul Heyman. Some of the best characters in company history. You got Roman Reigns, arguably the GOAT. You have Sami Zayn, one of the most underrated WWE stars in history. And you have the Usos, the greatest tag team of the modern day era. One of the greatest tag teams ever to step foot inside of a squared circle, to cut a promo, to put on a match. That is the magic behind the bloodline. That is the magic behind Roman Reigns.